Hello everybody, Brian here from quantlabs.net. Guess what? We got Oanda now again working on MotorWave. I haven't seen this in at least 6 months. So we got this account recovered. I'm going to show you this process. Oanda's very improved a lot. Shockingly much better now, on par, maybe better than Interactive Brokers for support and whatnot. Anyways, let me go into roughly the high level snapshots they used to do a while back, and I just want to show you where everything's at right now. This is what I used to, my Oanda setup was really good for this. So right now what you're looking at is the gold silver ratio. This is going all the way back to 2006 there. So what you're seeing is the level of pretty well risk in the overall market right now. You can easily know if this works or not in the magnitude and the comparison of where everything's at. So this is, let me pull up a monthly chart, might be better. So all the way here, this is where we're at. This right here is the financial crisis in 2008. Rose a little bit, did shrink. The whole market, global market did shrink. Now again, this is affecting global market, and you can see the risk came back in, put us at the same level of a weight, and we were pretty well at the same level as there at the bottom right left here. You can see here October 8th, in around there, same level as what it was in the peak, maybe over here, March 2017, in around there, where the risk started getting the same level as '08. And then along comes here, and this is now December, January 2020, and the risk just spiked up all the way up to April 2020, and then the risk came back down, meaning everything improved, everything calmed down. And look what we got now. We got a slow creep up just before the peak of when the virus kicked in January 2020. So we're at those same levels again. And what's pushing this? This is just general debt, recession, and this is not a good sign, to be honest. There's going to be some kind of catalyst of some kind that will push it through, and it will spike like what you see here. So this is an overall representation of going back to 2005 on global risk, where everything's at. And again, that's using gold silver ratio. This broker is one of the rare ones that actually has this. So I just wanted to let you know that. So what I'm going to do now is go through the overall snapshot. We've got about 120 different assets span right across the globe. These are CFDs and forex. The CFDs are just a mimic of the real McCoy as I get to it, but the forex is real enough. We can see where all the really good opportunities are at right now. So this is part of my membership. I can also provide live trading snapshots as well. I'm really thinking versus the Oanda versus Interactive Brokers, maybe I should start live trading in Oanda, because I was pretty impressed with what they provided. No minimum amount, so on and so forth. So let's go through this. Australian US dollar. Again, what I'm looking for is just general trend, okay? That's what I'm looking for. So you can see the choppiness, and this goes all the way back. This is a 4-hour chart. This goes back all the way to July, so this is good enough for now. Just generally looking at. So now, this is the interesting part, is that Germany, Deutsche 30, has got a decent trend up from 12,600 up to 13,600. So there's some strength now developing in this market, in the German market. BCO flat, declined actually. British pound against the Australian dollar. Now, one thing I need to mention is that virtually Interactive Brokers is really bad for forex, because they put data limits up to 100 on your basic account, and that really limits your account. So that's why I'm going to start revisiting Oanda only for the high level CFD, and then trade through those through interactive brokers and certain sectors based upon what I'm seeing, as well as this as well with the forex, and do the live trading with forex. CFDs I wouldn't recommend to live trade on, but forex is fine. Continuing along, US Canada flat, USD Swiss franc flat decline, and that's all due to, same with the Norwegian as well, that's due to the strengthening US dollar. As the US dollar starts to weaken, so does, actually, yeah, just basically as a trade as the US dollar has been strong, so the other currency will weaken. This one's an interesting one, the Swedish krona. You can see there that started moving up August. That's a trend I like to see. So Sweden it is. This is choppy again. Mexico decline. Gold and Australian dollar again. So the other thing is, you can trade gold obviously in many currencies. So this would tell me, I mean, this could change all around, but this may say that the best currency to trade gold in is Australian dollar. But you can see the general trend in the yen, the New Zealand dollar as well. It's very flat for gold. And here's silver. Same similar kind of trend. To put money in that, it's to deploy capital. That's a waste of capital. You're better off to put capital that actually gives you a return. A lot of these trends that you're seeing are pretty good. But knowing what I'm seeing here with Oanda, I wouldn't have been able to see that with the ETF scans that I do. Again, that's US only, so this is good for overseas as well. You can see here Australian Hong Kong dollar did strengthen here, but it's dropped back. But there's no trend. Here, the China 50. Okay, so this is important. China 50, you can see that steady decline since last year. This one's the interesting one, is the Euro 50. It's strengthened as well, as you can see with the Deutsche as well. So that's a pretty good one to be in. Flatten out, but this is good to know. I'm going to revisit all those and the interactive brokers for sure. So I'll put up more information as I get to it. Euro Huff. Now with these type of trends, this used to be a nice trend. It's no longer there. So what am I to say? Now the Euro Turkish Lira had a nice trend, it's gone flat. This was a good one. Euro USD, that's what I did see in the ETF scans, that the Euro, and also in interactive broker, that this looked good. This is flat here. That's Euro USD. Euro Rand, South African Rand, same. India 50, really choppy decline and flat. This is a good one as well that you won't see anywhere else. This is the Taiwan index. Look at that, really good since July. Nice trend. Now obviously when China's rattling on about potential invasion, it hurts the Taiwanese. That's why you had this decline here. But that's not looking bad. UK gilt really declining there. Wow. UK, you can see the weakness in overall in UK for sure here if I was to look it up. Again, not much trend here. There's a couple. This is now the Treasury 5-year declining there. That's good. Since August, it's a market seems to have strengthened. Not as bad. That decline's not as bad with a 10-year. USD Canadian flat there. Same with the USD Swiss franc, Danish, USD Mexico, Norway. But that's looking pretty good there. This one's looking pretty good too. Had a trend and went flat since August. So you can see the overall market by looking at these, just all the major areas within the world. Here's oil WTI, been in a solid decline. There was some strength here along here, which strengthened oil companies. Don't you know? Brent crude, same thing as well. Now you can see some agricultural in here. And remember, I only focus on excellent, very good scores. Very flat for the wheat. Now, let me pull up wheat as a whole. I want to show you the inflation trade that I saw through this. Let me pull up monthly. So here's the thing. Here you can see inflation. This is definite inflation. So this all started all the way back in May of last 2 years ago, okay, and it really peaked here in June. So when you hear the Fed go on about, well, is inflation kicked in, you can just take a look at this chart. It's dropped, and that's wheat. Now, maybe corn, I can load up corn as well, just in case, as another one. And we can take a look at these and see if inflation is really kicked into high gear. So you can see here again, March 2022, it's dropped back. Now, will it come back? I don't know, obviously, because you can see it did pull back and then had a big upswing and continued with the inflation. This is all is all debt. Okay, I don't care what people say. This inflation for the national debt, I covered that in one of my podcasts last night. Really important to know how weak the U.S. economy is, and it's getting weaker year by year. When I last looked at it versus last night, it's not a pretty picture, folks. So I'll leave it at that. Let me pull up the oil now as well. As we saw, let me pull up BCO, which is Brent crude oil. Do the same thing. Monthly, same idea, but oil hasn't come down as much. But again, the Fed doesn't really need to talk all that much. I mean, that's a good sign that the Fed might want to, if they want to really rejuvenate the economy, what they should do is drop, let's say, down a quarter to signal back to the market that inflation has kind of peaked if you look at it. I mean, again, that's why I call them idiots, because I don't need to know. I mean, this is wheat, this is Brent crude, it's dropped back. What's there to deny? Let me pull up the UNG here, which is natural gas. Actually, it's natural gas, there it is. Remember, this is a CFD, but it mimics the real McCoy. I wouldn't trade on these as it stands, but you can definitely maybe replicate it in Interactive Brokers or a decent broker like that. So there's a little bit of inflation in natural gas, but it's nothing compared to the others of food, like corn, wheat, and oil. It's kind of subdued, if you want my opinion. We can also take a look at another one of sugar. Okay, I'm just showing you the inflation. Didn't go up at all. But I can see a while back there was a nice trend as well with sugar. That was a good one to be in. And close these out. And we'll resume our snapshot revisit. But I just wanted to bring that up. That's why I think Oanda data can be pretty good compared to Interactive Brokers. CHF, Swiss franc against the Hong Kong dollars declined. You can see it did have a nice trend there. You can see there's not a lot of choppy on a 4-hour chart as well, so there's a lot of liquidity there, it looks like, in Oanda. This one's interesting. Swiss franc and the rand. That might continue to rally. You'll see these weird combinations you wouldn't think of through doing this. And again, we're still excellent. There's so many here. When the market's really weak, you'd hardly see any opportunities here. But comparatively right now, it's looking pretty good. Even though they are kind of weak looking, if you're just a long only. So the Australian, New Zealand, Australian, Japan, Australian CHF, Canada, Japan. But this one I like. That one I strongly like, I have to admit. Here comes NASDAQ. Let's take a look at that. So you can see here, it's kind of recovering pretty good. Even though you don't see it, but for that CFD, that shows strength in the U.S. markets. Here comes France. So that one's a little better. Pound against the New Zealand, choppy, I call that as well. Pound against the Japanese yen, pound against the Australian dollar, USD against the Canadian, USD against the Swiss franc, Swedish. I like that trend. I don't think that'll continue. It'll probably get to this point and then taper back unless something fundamentally is going in. What I have seen when things get really bad sometimes, or there's the onset of things when it looks bad for the markets, usually a lot of capital providers, allocators will move into safe dollars or safe currency. Sweden's definitely one of them. I don't know if that's a benefit of it, and that's been started loading up since August 11th there. So that is probably what's going on, is that people are looking for returns, so they're piling into the US dollar, into the Swedish. Now here's gold. You can see it's performed a little bit, 2175, 2300, tapered back. Let me see the overall. Okay, so I'm sorry, that's Canadian dollar. But let me pull up the US dollar. I don't think we'll see that. But you can see it's performing a little bit there. But again, let me go back. This is what I don't like about gold. If I go back into the month here, see right here, it peaked here, 2013 at 1747. Now it's at 2000, approaching 2000 here. So it has elevated, it's flattened out. So this will be something to watch in the gold. And it's really these big jumps here are the Fed calls, they go more interest please. Up goes and people load into gold. And again, that's gold in Canadian dollar as well. You can see that on the 4-hour chart, I believe. Okay, so let's go through the Europe. Alright, so Hong Kong's been fairly weak as well. Yeah, not much in gold, but it's interesting to watch. People start to load up there. One place to hide out with gold is Paxos, PaxG, in crypto. If they don't turn into another grayscale. XAG. Now this is silver in New Zealand dollar. Interesting. Now here's the Australian index. Wow, that's looking really good since, again, July. That's pretty good compared to the US, I have to say. So I might revisit things here, knowing this for the snapshot of this Oanda view. France, we've seen, but that's not bad. That's getting steadier. Europe, I like. That's looking pretty good, but you can see it's flattened out. But Australia, I have to say, look pretty good there. Euro, Swiss franc, Euro, Japan yen, Norway, Poland. Let's see Euro and Sweden. Same thing. Everyone's piling in the Swedish currency. This is where either the yen or the Swiss franc would be good, but no, it's the Swiss. Sorry, the Swedish krone. If I got that right. You can see here, kind of in Turkey, it's flattened out, and we've already seen these. Hong Kong, Japanese yen, India, flat. Thailand, I like the look of that. Let's take a look at Netherlands. That's looking pretty good, but again, flat compared to Germany's outperforming. For sure, we've seen that. Treasury on the 30-year, kind of stable, but slight decline there. This one used to be really good, was the Euro Hungarian. Doesn't look like there's any trend anymore. But if I was to show you that, let me just pull this up. You can see how fast it takes to load in from Oanda. It's pretty fast. So that trend right there, again, August, people may be loading into Hungarian currency as well. 380 to 480, that's quite a bit. But let's look at the 1 month. Yeah, you can see it accelerate. So that's what's happening, is overall people are piling into this currency as well. Let's see the USD INR. Flat and choppy. But again, I guess it's important to look at the monthly view. Really good trend there on the monthly view for the INR. That's Indian rupee. Just on the 2-year here for the Treasury. Let's look at that. I think it's important. Look at that. Wow. Crazy. USD, CAZK, Hong Kong. Really crazy. So are we on a 4-hour chart here? Let me close. Yeah, that's a 4-hour chart. Is it? Okay, so this is the USD Japanese yen. Let me show you how weak the USD has come down since last month or two. It was really strong up until a month ago. That's where I made most of my trades. But here on the monthly here, you can see here just in over the last year from 100 all the way up to 135, then gone flat. That's because, as I said, the US dollar has kind of slowed down, declined, and gone flat. So that's no surprise there. Okay, so some interesting places and snapshots to get an idea of where to put money into. Just depends. Okay, so now we have soybean. Now I've not looked at that one. It's all over the place. But again, this is again to prove there is no inflation. This is what I don't get. Monthly, yeah, monthly should do. But you can see it did spike. It's gone flat, but it's not inflation. It's just not there. The other inflation in corn, sugar, I've shown as well. Swiss franc and the Japanese yen, Canadian dollar. I'm just curious to see how the pound against the dollar. That was an interesting trade a while back. Okay, so monthly. Yeah, you can see it's just gone basically flat. Nowhere to go. Pound against the yen would be an interesting one as well. Yeah, same thing. Alright, so let's look at what else we got here. Pound against New Zealand. No. Pound against the rand. No. Some very interesting places to put money into. Turkish lira against the Japanese yen. Solid decline. I would imagine that's the same. The rand against the... Okay, so this one's an important one. Copper. Base metal. So you can see it's starting to increase up until August. Tapered off. Started to build up. And this was all basically a China trade. As it's trying to open up. But with the latest letting the virus take hold, potential million dead. I don't know what that means, but this is definitely a manufacturing trade. Economy is going to improve. It's gone flat. Hasn't declined. That's a good thing. But let me pull up the monthly. So again, you can see that inflation did kick in between January, in this case April, June. Okay. So it's again February 2020. Once the pandemic hit, the price of copper went up, rallied up until August 2021, went flat and came back down. Okay, so again, that's as the economy worsens because there's less manufacturing. That's more of a national debt trade. That's the problem, and that's something to be really concerned about because unless China can turn it around to get manufacturing again, that's also a reflection on the U.S. economy where it's slowed down. And again, I've gone kind of over that with the real-time debt clock for the U.S. in one of my podcasts last night that I posted to really go over that. I'm not going to repeat that here. And lastly, we have platinum and USD. So, but basically, from a investment side, I'm giving you a really good snapshot using Oanda data. So right now, we'll be using Kraken. There's just like crypto is just. There's been even comments of like Bitcoin's dead. I mean, that's stupid talk. But for now, it is dead. But I think it will come back. The utility for what will bring back crypto is there's a lot of innovation. in the infrastructure with the NFT and the Web3 movement. A lot of the coins are benefiting from it. You're not seeing it in the price, but on the technical, industrial standpoint, it's very interesting what's going on. So it's going to be around. Bitcoin's going to definitely be an important asset class. I did another podcast on Bitcoin last night. The volatility is nowhere as bad as it used to be, but it's bad enough where there's not enough momentum in Bitcoin. Right now, I would have said U.S. stock looked good. Not great, but looks okay for certain sectors I've gone over. Again, another podcast in there. This is a different story when I have Oanda, because this gives me more of a global view on where money's going. It's already listed here. So basically what I'm saying is that this is a typical video I do put out. I'll invest my own money when time comes around, but I am really having problems with interactive brokers, the broker trying to get those trades to get triggered on interactive brokers. So for now, this is where we're at. If you want to know more, you want to get on my offer that I have for the holidays, go to quantlabs.net/books. I've also got a video on that. Basically, it's $9.97 for 3 years. After that, it's going to go up to $9.97 per quarter in 2023. Happy holidays. Hopefully this will give you a better view, and I'm happy to have back my Oanda. Thanks again. Have a good day.